What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Reality Game where we put the real in reality, bitch.
Period.
I'm your host, Farrah. We are joined by our wonderful co-host, Lee. How you doing? Why did I moan it?
I don't know. At this point, I don't know.
Bati girls. All right.
1, 2, 3. Okay, wait. We can't start this early.
I'm thinking of Mother Maddie.
Maddie, period. AKA top of the pyramid. AKA always at the top. Period, bitch.
Oh God. AKA Abby Lee's favorite. AKA Queen of the Castle. Like,
and you know what? I feel like I'm at the bottom of the pyramid. I feel like broke a page, bitch, because this week. Once again, the Shady Bunch and Koozie.
Brooke and Paige getting...
Because Brooke and Paige always goddamn bottom. It's bad for them.
Oh, God. It's bad for the Shady Bunch and Koozie. Again.
Without it. It's because the season is so chaotic. I mean, honestly, though, non-biased standpoint, great season. I mean, every single week, you cannot keep up with how things are going to come out. Because the relationships keep shifting. It's like, I'm scared for Koozie, but at the same time, it's like, I know for a fact it's going to depend on who's HOH. Every single one of these weeks, the relationships and what they plan on doing moving forward has been based upon what the HOH does. And you would think now that the Crown is solidified alliance, this is like the first major solidified alliance of the season.
Right.
That it will continue. And it's like, no, like even now they're being torn apart. Not infighting, but the fact that they're going to lose a number this week, it's like,
It's really crazy. It's the season as a whole. I'm gonna have to say I like it.
I'm still so mad that we don't have feeds because it would have just been 10 times better. Like that's the thing. If the mission was the money, baby, this could have got out a coin on its own.
You didn't need the sponsors and the 50 million ads.
Girl, I've come to a realization.
They're just getting more and more.
That's the thing. When I'm taking notes for the digital dailies and I see the length of the digital daily, they were dropping 2 hours and 30 minutes this week. They were dropping 2 hours and 40 minutes. I said, oh, they're giving us content with a T. No, babe. No. Because at the end of the day,
content with a lowercase T.
Lowercase.
And a lowercase C.
A lowercase C. Because nothing, like most of the information in the digital daily is bullshit information that does not matter or an ad. There are 3 ads per conversation. I feel like I'm watching YouTube and bitch, I got YouTube Red. So this is a problem for me. I can't to never watch ads. Okay? My ad blocker don't work. So it's pissing me off because why is there 20 ads per digital daily? Like I said, it's definitely just get the coin. It's like I just like everything as a conspiracy. Now the digital dailies are 2 hours and 40 minutes long, so you can throw in 12 ads and get money. Stop using me.
We're not buying it. Circle K, we're not going.
I'm not going to Circle K. I'm not.
Wendy's ain't been there. Actually,
now Wendy's. I
think this is Wendy's fault.
I literally got Wendy's last night, bitch. I got that new snack wrap, bitch. That snack wrap was good as hell. I'll give them that. I also give me a 10-piece spicy chicken nugget.
A $5 biggie bag.
A $6 biggie bag. Girl, they're gonna have $10 biggie bags next.
And I will be getting them.
They don't do for $4 no more.
I don't even do for. I get $6 big bag. Me personally, chicken sandwich with bacon.
It used to be $4 for $4.
Spicy nuggets. Get you some barbecue. I like barbecue. It come with the drink.
Now Wendy's is the only ad that will stand for. Everything else can go.
But I don't think Wendy's is asking for all of this. They got promo on the show every fucking week.
Right, because one thing you will do if you win HOH, guess where you're going? To Wendy's, babe.
They're gonna have somebody in the in literal uniform with the hat on, hair tied back.
I can't believe it was Erica this time. Erica, people can't see.
Shout out to Erica. But let's get into this. If you don't see the title, it's the Digital Daily Recap, even though we just talked about other things. It's the Digital Daily Recap, bitch. We will get into it. But first, let me talk about this motherfucking episode. So, first of all, in the episode, a lot of the content we got was what we're going to get on the Digital Dailies. Wasn't much. But to break it down, Ty won HOH. It was hanging on a pole. Endurancy, it came down to him, Hope, and Claude. Claude dropped. It was him and Hope just couldn't hold on no longer. Boom.
And it's like, the crowd, what was y'all doing? Because why was it?
And there's tea on that later in the episode. I'll get to it.
Child.
But basically, at this point, we see Jonathan. He hurt his arm. Don't know what's going on with that, babe.
Lord, the crown is injured.
But it was a lot going on for the crown. But Ty wins HOH. he immediately is basically going to target Santina. He's trying to make a big move. He feels like Santina's a big move. The target is Santina. He's going to put up Renee as a pawn. Boom. We find
and it's
out.
like dumb as hell, but it's like that's dumb as hell for my faves. So we're here.
No brain.
But obviously,
We're
Canada
here.
had different plans this week. Canada.
And the girls were dragging because the girls was like, this is the main week. Y'all should have been voting for Jonathan. And y'all busy voting for Jonathan just because y'all like him. He was not in danger. And the girls say, I'm not the girls. I'm not coming from Canada. But the girls say you Canadians need to get it the fuck together. You need to stop voting just the first time you see somebody. Vote someone who's in danger. Because now you can't vote Jonathan and who might go home.
Yeah.
John.
Y'all gotta be strategic with it. It's like how in BBUS, remember Jessica got the power app? The
power app.
Eviction Night Rise thing. When Tony left, America United. Same with Bailey. Swaggy went home. And mind you, Bailey wasn't even a fan fave. I was gagged that Bailey got it. But no.
But Swaggy went home. So we will.
Strategic voting. See, in Canada, that's the thing. In Canada, you know, people from the East Coast, those Newfoundlanders, they get out to the polls. They get to them polls, bitch. They get to them polls. I was actually shocked that didn't Claudia end up getting like the first one, or she got something first? I was like, I was shocked that Claudia got it, but hey.
She's still from the East
Coast. And then Jonathan was next.
She's from the similar city, or
yeah, she's from PEI. PEI, something.
East Coast.
East Coast. Her.
But we find out he's HOH. He wants to target Santina, but Santina wins the Digital Daily.
Bel Air Direct Safety.
The Bel Air Direct Safety. Also an ad.
Girl, I like how they implemented it into like the twist the cops, bitch. Like, no, like it's almost like, oh my god, random comparison. You remember that episode of Wizard of Waverly Place where they were at the wizarding school and they turned it and like they started putting ads in the schools and there was dancing on their robes. There's shit all over the walls. That's how watching this season of Big Brother Canada is. Everything walking can and will be an ad.
Period.
You see him using a vacuum, bitch, that's a shark vacuum. Go and get it. You see him eating meat, bitch, that's beef 100% from Wendy's Canada.
No, it was Hello Fresh. It was Hello Fresh meal.
Hello Fresh meal, bitch. Like nothing is done without ad, babe.
We're remembering them. We're remembering the name.
Clearly, it's working.
In my vocabulary.
Look, and guess what? And guess what? Get your clothes from Winners, bitch. Then maybe they're doing something. Maybe they're doing something.
Period. Because if I see Circle K, I might just go.
I ain't going to damn Circle K. They ain't gonna get me to go to Circle K. I'll stick to 7-Eleven.
Shell. So he's one in the nom Santina. She wins the Bella Direct. He can't do that. So he pulls up Hope. He's like, Hope, you gonna go on the block for me? Hope's like, okay.
Hope, don't do that shit no more. At least he knows. We'll get into that. He's very aware he shouldn't have did this shit.
So Ty's planning on nominating Hope and Renee. Claudia tries to talk to him, and he's like, girl, stop talking to me. And we'll get into that conversation a little more in the Digital Dailies. But then it's getting close to nominations. Claudia, Shania, Renee are having a conversation. And they're like, ugh, it just sucks that we didn't win at HOH and Ty's ready to nominate people on his side. It's just weird.
Just dumb.
And they was like, did y'all peep? And they was like, peep what? And they was like, y'all didn't peep how Kuzi and Anika, they felt 20 minutes in. Feel safe as hell, don't they? They feel real comfortable, don't they? So Claudia, Shania, and Renee had a good conversation. They jealousy.
Started following me.
Right to the block, Renee. But what happened was they all talked about it, and they was like, they were just real comfortable. I don't like that. So Renee was like, if I go up and I go home, that's going to be a problem for all of us. Shania is like, it's going to be a big problem for all of us.
And Claudia really need to listen to that because she was fully.
They were basically talking to Claudia because they were talking. Claudia was,
okay, get with the program, sister.
Listening, she was in school, getting schooled.
Period.
By Shania, who randomly woke up. Well,
girl, no. I hate that wake up. And
she didn't wake up. She didn't wake up. Dan went home, and she got bored. I'll give her that. So Shania was like, it's given we need to stick together, right, girls? And they were like, yeah, we do need to stick together. And Renee was like, I mean, you don't want to go back up there and talk to him one more time? And
the initiative.
Like, girl. And Claudia was like, okay. So she left. She went right upstairs.
Wait, hold on, because I didn't catch this part. I guess my shit was tripping. So,
girl,
did Claudia go back up there herself?
Claudia went right back up there to
Herself.
Tyler's room. She went to actually the Pelican room, and she said her alone. She went to the Pelican room. She said, "Ty, can I talk to you?" He left. Everybody else who was there, which was Kuzi, Anika, Hope, they was like, "Talk to you." He left. They went to the HOH room.
See, I just feel like the girl should have bombarded his ass. I wouldn't have trusted Claudia to do it on her own.
I mean, he got there because Claudia, she's talking to Ty, and she's like, "I don't know. I just feel like you should be doing something else." And he was like, "What you thinking?" She said, "Kuzi." He said, "Oh." She said, "Yeah, Kuzi. I mean, she's just doing a lot. She's a very good threat. She's a big threat, and you know she's a threat. You said it." So I just feel like, why are we doing this move? It's just not.
Keep mother's name out your mouth.
I will say they went to work. They said, we're not letting one of us go home.
But you know what? You know what? I will say that though. Like the initiative they took, though, like you cannot get mad at that. Like unbiased opinion aside, like these girls are playing. Okay, they said, look, we're staying in this game.
But we're gonna play. Now we're
arrived.
Now we're in danger.
But also shout out to Kuzi because it just shows how good of a player she is. I mean, the fact that she literally just backstabbed this man 2 or 3 weeks ago, took out his closest ally, and he's like, no, why would I put up Kuzi? Anyways.
Yeah. So basically, Claudia said it, and she was like, girl, it's not giving that. Like, why are you, what are you saying? She was like, I just feel like us and Renee. And he was like, you know what? Let me go get Renee and Shania. He left. He got Renee and Shania. So now it's Renee, Shania, and Claudia in the room. And he's like, what's tea? Like, what's the issue? What's the problem? Renee speaks for them, basically. And Renee is like, I just feel like you doing this, if you put one of us up and take one of us out, you're going to hand the game to Kuzi, Daniel, and Anika. They have all the control and they have the votes. He's like, you can still stay. And he's like, I cannot. Because if I'm up against Hope, Jonathan's not evicting Hope. That's his number one. And the 3 of them are all voting together. So what's Tia? And Ty was basically like, I mean, well why
Ty doesn't care because he wants Renee out.
He was like, why would I want to work with you?
And that's the stupid thing. It's like Renee is not someone to distrust. This is the same rhetoric that he pushed to Claudia, that Claudia thankfully turned around on because that was terrible for her game. I just don't see why Ty cannot. What the issue is that that's Claudia's relationship. I think that he does not want to feel like he's not in control of his own game. Remember I said that. I'm like, that's always going to be an issue. It's like he's not going to want to fully break down and choose to work with Claudia's allies. He wants his own allies. So he may work with Shania, but if he don't like Renee, and that's it. No, he can't see anything past that. And it's like, you want to keep safe a full alliance, a solidified alliance that's named, that's targeting you.
That's his problem. So that's basically how it ended. He basically was arguing with her about it, was like, no, girl. And then we got to the noms. He nommed Renee and Hope, and they were like, well, I guess that's that. But they got him because he wanted Renee out. Shania won veto. I'm sorry, the girly boss got to eat it up a little bit.
Look, I guess
and then he just stopped eating. And then he just starved.
I can't fully support it because they keep Kuzi's name in their mouth. I
feel like if you're going to choose somebody to target Daniel. That's me.
Daniel, target Ty. Which they are kind of targeting Ty. But it feels like they could easily switch to just a full-on Kuz.
I don't like that.
And that's going to be a problem.
So let's hop into these digital dailies. Now, so this first one, which was April 8th, was not nothing.
Nothing. Really nothing that we didn't learn in an episode.
Exactly. What we got a conversation with Ty telling Jonathan he'd never put him up. That was a lie. He also talked to Santina. We saw that conversation in the episode. That was it. Nothing happened. Dead ass. I'm not even lying. Not even trying to be funny. Nothing happened. We found out in this daily that Ty's HOH. He wanted to nom Santina. Blah. We saw that in the episode. Boom. That's it. Next. Dead ass. Wow. April 9th. This is where we actually got shit.
This is the tea. A lot of tea was in this one, child.
A lot of tea was in this one. So on April 9th, in this episode, or in this daily, we knew Santina won safety, and we knew that Ty had nominated Hope and Renee, and we knew that Shania had the veto. So we knew a lot of information. Going in, that's the info you need to know. We have a conversation with Kuzi and Jonathan first. And they're in the storage room, and basically they're talking, and we don't necessarily know yet because it's in the middle of the conversation. But basically, what we gather is they know Shania has veto, and they are trying to come up with a plan to prevent Jonathan from being the renom. they're like, it's clear the veto might get used, obviously on Renee, and Jonathan is likely to be the renom. And if Jonathan's renom, it'll be a Crown member versus a Crown member, Jonathan versus Hope. They don't want that. So they want to try to convince Shania to not use it. Jonathan is going to talk to her, and then Kuzi says she's going to talk to her also, so that there's double, double trouble. Put the nigga in the bubble.
Boom. Yeah, I mean, definitely hearing this plan at first, I was just like, girl, I mean,
I was just going to say.
That would just expect Shania to just be dumb as hell. Like, it would not make sense. Yeah. It's like Davon not using veto in All Stars or in Kevin. Like, it's like, it makes no sense, and there's no way you're going to be able to explain this to make it make sense unless you're a dummy like Ty and don't know who your allies are.
Yeah. So
that's the thing. If Claudia had veto, this could have been a different story. Claude may have been convinced not to use it.
And they really got fucked because Shania would have probably been the normal renom, or could have been the normal renom. She's safe. Renee's coming off.
But what's hilarious? What's hilarious about that is that Ty picked Shania. We learned that he picked her to play in veto. So it's like, I don't know if he picked her thinking he wanted to go with their little plan. He wanted to give him a chance of safety, or did he pick her thinking, oh, she's not winning?
He picked her thinking she's not winning.
And it's like dumb.
Because what he said, when they did all talk to them,
that's the only person who would use it. And you picked her, and she won it, and now she's using it. Like a dummy.
And now you're mad. Like a dummy. When they were all in the room with Ty, he was basically like, I mean, y'all win HOH and take him out if y'all want Kuzi out so bad. And Claudia was like, that's fair.
And they want veto. And they'll work it out. They don't need to work it out. See, that's the thing. I can't.
They need to stop. This is the last win. And let me not put nothing negative.
That's what I'm saying. It's hard to. I can't fully support because my bias side come out. Because I just feel like if I fully support them, I'm fully supporting the Kuzi target. I'm not doing that shit. I'm not doing that.
Y'all can do them.
Y'all can wake up.
They can do them.
Y'all can play the game, but you need to kick Kuzi's name out your mouth.
And do you, and then we'll do us.
And don't do Kuzi.
And that's it. That's all we ask.
That's all you need. But no, like I just like, I mean, he's stupid. Like, I don't understand. I don't get that. Like, you picked Shania and then you're mad that she's using it. Mind you, he's mad that he's now forced to do a plan that's better for his game. He doesn't want veto to be used. He wants Renee to go home like an idiot.
Yep.
Just stupid as hell.
After this, Shania and Claudia talk. This is when Claudia tells us that her and Ty are not on good terms. Well, she doesn't tell us, but she kind of does. That her and Ty are rocky. And basically, she tells her that right now my priorities are Ty, you, and Daniel. And she does not mention Renee because she's been beefing with Renee for a minute. And Claudia was like, I know it's best for my game that Hope leaves. So that's what I'm trying to get Ty to understand, but he's not understanding it. And apparently that's why they had an argument, right?
And then even in this conversation, she's telling her, like, basically, if Hope is to go, we can try to bring in Santina, bring in John, and then it would be Ty, Kuzi, and Anika versus the house.
Yeah, and Daniel. They said, and bring in Daniel.
And
so it would be Ty, Kuzi, and Anika versus the house. And this is when we first find out that they had beef.
Yes.
One-sided. Because, Ty, Kuzi,
it may be two-sided.
Now it's two-sided.
It may be two-sided because the tea from today's drop is
piping. So after this, Renee comes in, and Renee is like, I talked to Kuzi, and she was going to tell them what she was saying to Kuzi.
And I was like,
be careful. Be careful
when you're talking to Kuzi. I wouldn't say too much because from their perspective, they feel like Kuzi and Ty are basically conjoined at the hip after this past week. They feel like they're really extremely close. And basically anything that says to Kuzi goes back to Ty. I feel like the explanation as to where that came from is in the next Digital Daily, what we'll get into. But immediately I was just like, this is wrong. I mean, like, Kuzi isn't an informant. And neither is she that loyal to Ty. I think they were under the impression that she is, trying to basically play this game actively with him. And for the POV of Kuzi, we know that she also does not like him like that. So I don't know if that's fully the correct read. I know she is mother. She definitely should be targeted. I'll let them have that.
I was just going to say that,
that's not, I don't think there's an accurate read on her relationship with Ty. Like, she also very much hates Ty.
Yeah, I think it's more so, and that's the thing. It's hard for them to know that because what I think is Ty loves Kuzi, and that's his number one, and he's not gonna go against her. And they knew that from the conversation they had before Noms, where basically they said, put up Kuzi, and he's like, no, you do it. No, I'm not doing that.
And it's like,
and it's like Kuzi just took out Zach.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're like, Kuzi just took out Zach, and you were crying about it, ready to quit, and now you're HOH, and you don't even want to put her up. That's scary.
They're gagged. They're like, this bitch's mother. Like, that's what it is. They're like, they were like, he won't even put her up. Like, all the,
and now he's telling her,
all the signs are there.
Tell him nothing. Oh, that's mother. It's like they're basically like, wow, this is mother.
They know who mother is. So you know what? I can't even be mad. They literally are. They just know who mother is. And at least I can accept that. At least I can accept that. You know, she's being targeted for being one of the best players, the best player.
They literally say in this conversation, they're like, if she goes to final two, she's winning. So that'd be embarrassing. And it's like,
why do they know? I'm just so mad. I'm mad because people, every time a player decides to wake up randomly in the middle of the season, it never goes well for my fave. Randomly, JC Lynn wants to win veto. Sit down, JC Lynn.
Fuck down.
God damn. Bitches always want to randomly do shit. Like, that pisses me off. Like
go home.
Like, all of a sudden, Shanae is a good player that knows who needs to go home and knows what target. Shanae, go back to crying about Dan.
Saving people.
Go back to crying about Rob. I don't know. Like,
organizing plans, making up strategy. How did this happen? Dan should have stayed. Maybe Dan should have stayed.
No, because that's the thing. I don't stand by that argument either. Because, for example, a lot of people did say that. I'll jump into that real quick. A lot of people were like, when Ty won HOH, they were like, well, Cooley's stupid because why did they keep him? Even now, because Hope is the renom. I mean, Jonathan is the renom. They're like, oh, well, you know, Cooley's the number done for keeping him. Well, the plan was always to keep him. And then also, I feel like when you think about it, for Hope, Anika, Kuzi, and Daniel, all of them were closer to Todd than they were Dan. If Dan stayed, he would have fully been with the girly pops, and this wouldn't even be a discussion. If Dan had that HOH, which is very likely he could have won it, it would have been the exact same nonsense from the beginning, and there would have been no way they could infiltrate his decision.
Period.
I still think keeping Ty was the best bet. It's just, I mean, Ty is dumb. Like, I don't know. Like.
So they decide in this conversation that if they win the next HOH, they want to nominate Ty and Kuzi and target Ty. They're kind of like wavering, like, do we nominate them? And they're like, as long as Ty's the target and Kuzi can go, if it's not him, that's the plan.
Now, what I noticed about this conversation too, because I do think there's some intricacies between what separately of them want. Yeah. Because I remember I was clocking Shania in this conversation. She was saying Kuzi and Anika.
Yeah.
And then she kept going, and then she was like, honestly, we have a good relationship with Jonathan, Santana, and Daniel. If we do Kuzi and Anika, everyone votes out Kuzi because everyone knows that Kuzi's a good player. And then Santina can go after Ty. So, but Renee and Claudia talked over her while she was fully getting that out. So I don't think they fully registered it. They were all throwing ideas out, you know?
Yeah.
But that to me makes me feel like she wants Kuzi out now. Like that, if she gets HOA, there's a chance that she maybe be like, Santina can get Ty. Yeah. I want Kuzi. And it's like, Shania, what the fuck, Shania?
Fuck up and shut the fuck down.
Bitch, where do you get this from? She's not a bitch, but damn, Shania.
Like, where you coming from? Please.
Let's go back to sleep.
Dan, I don't want Dan in the house.
Go back to sleep.
But I don't want Dan in the house.
She said that. I said, oh shit, this girl is smart. She got what the fuck.
I've been trying to say it.
Because I ain't gonna lie, I've been down playing that. I mean, she wasn't giving me anything. I stand by it.
There was no proof.
But mother woke up, won veto, and look, she's on it.
Started playing the game.
On it, and it's pissing me off. And
she said that would be her strategy preseason, though. So it's like, maybe she was not. Most people who say that be lying. Dead ass. Maybe she was like, oh.
I mean, at the end of the day, the thing is, why that strategy is not fully the best is because now she's in jury and her only allies are really the girly pops.
And nobody respects her.
So it's like, and no one really fully respects it. And that's the thing, is like you have to be doing things throughout to kind of garner that respect and move pieces in the game to where when you fully want to activate yourself, you have places to go. Their last hope was Ty, and he's a dummy. Thankfully, she won veto, but you know, if they can't get HOH next week, they're fucked.
Yeah. Nobody else is working with them.
But also in this conversation, Claudia, she kept mentioning Daniel. And Shania would be like, I don't think Daniel should be on the table because we have a relationship with him. But Renee kept mentioning Daniel. And I also didn't get the sense that she was as against Kuzi as Shania and Claudia. But that could just be, I mean, that could be irrelevant. It didn't feel like she was fully down with even putting up Kuzi. She was like, well, what about Daniel and Nika?
Yeah.
And they were like, no, not Daniel. She's like, you sure, Daniel? Like, she kept bringing them up. So,
and
I think it really depends on who's the HOH.
Because they also mentioned they were like, I mean, we don't have relationship. Well, we do have a relationship with Kuzi randomly. We do have relationships with her, but we should still nominate her, right? So it's like they know in the back of their head, like, she be fucking with us. Well, she has a relationship with us. But
hey. So it'd be interesting. And if Claudia wins, I mean, the plan is to nominate and or backdoor tie. Claudia gonna do that? I don't know. We've seen Claudia stand 10 toes on her opinion and say these niggas gotta go. And then we've turned on to the digital dailies and saw her coded up next to him. So with Claudia, it can be this or that, hot or cold. And I will say, for Claudia's game, does Ty necessarily even need to go? Because he's crazy. He's ruining his own game. He kind of stains hers a little bit, but he's not targeting her. So that would be enough for me.
I don't think he needs to go. I think for Claudia's game, that's the thing. They all, in my opinion, they all have different best things. I think for Claudia's game, Hope needs to go, in my opinion. And she kind of knows that. She mentioned it to Ty. I think for Shania's game, Kuzi does need to go. And I think for Renee's game, anybody could go because no one likes her. So if someone has to go, it probably should be Kuzi. So I think for Renee and Shania, Kuzi makes the most sense. Kuzi is the best player, and she's not working with them that much at all. Yeah. I think for Claudia, Kuzi could work with them, and Ty could help keep Claudia safe a little bit. She's not that good. But I don't think for Claudia, she needs Kuzi out just yet. She can go ahead and get somebody else out. But all of them taking out Kuzi is fine. Honestly, it's a good move because he's eating them up. She's winning the game. She's going to win the game.
They won't get the chance.
Hope and Daniel talk. Doesn't really matter that much because they talk about how they're going to try to convince Shania not to use the veto. She will be using the veto, please.
Like, I wonder if all of them actually had these conversations because that would be another quick, easy way to pull them together. Because basically everyone in the crown was like, we're going to do anything we can to get her not to use it.
Yeah.
I think they had a better bet of getting Ty to put up Claudia, which apparently he was down to do.
Yes. But I don't think they thought that was an option. So they never pitched it, and it's like, shit, that's it. After this Shania and Ty talk, and Ty is trying to convince Shania to not use the veto. And Shania's like, I mean, wouldn't that just be a little dumb, though?
He basically just lies and gaslights her throughout this entire conversation. It was weird. Like, I don't know why he does that. He's just like,
and honestly, so weirdly to people.
I don't even know if it's blatantly him lying or him seeing the house in this way and just think that everyone else does because of the ego. Because he's telling her like, well, the house wouldn't trust if you use veto on your closest ally. Like how he told Kuzi the house wouldn't trust her if she put up Zach. It's like, is it the house or is it just you? And the way he's talking to her, he literally said, basically, I'm challenging you to Shania for yourself to not use it. Because if you do, you're going to have a target on your back. Like, you're not going to be thinking straightly. You're not going to be thinking clearly if you choose to use it. Basically, you're a dumbass bitch if you use this veto on my HOH because I'm telling you not to. And he straight up basically tells her, if you use it, I'm going to have to target you.
Yeah.
So don't. And it's like, Ty, does he go through life talking to people like this? Like,
maybe it's just in the game.
Maybe I'm like, maybe in Canada people are intimidated by him. I just don't. Ty, you can't talk to people like that.
It has to just be an in the game thing. I would assume.
I would hope.
Because
if you talk to people in IRL, I'm surprised he has not been.
After that, he starts talking to Claudia like that. Literally.
Oh my God! Like,
girl, he talks to Claudia like it's. I think it's worse with Claudia, which is weird because why?
Honestly, like,
and he said it. Didn't he say to her that I was nice to Shania, but I'm not gonna be nice to you or something like that? And it's like
he was like, oh, I wasn't that aggressive in the Shania conversation, which was false. But he's like, I'm more aggressive with you. And she was like, thanks. I feel bad because like when I'm watching the conversation, it honestly feels like Stockholm. It feels like a girl. Like every time she speaks to him, it's like she's speaking lower.
She's walking on eggshell.
Walking on eggshell. It's like she knows that any minute he may go off.
Get
Like,
a little
and it's
angry.
like, I don't know. Like this whole show, man. I never really liked it, but it's just like the further it gets in the game, it's just like, ooh, because I think Claudia, like we just said, is not fully best for her game to just discard Ty, and I think she realizes that, but she also likes him on an emotional level. I think it's hard for us to see why that emotional level, because we don't see any of those conversations like that they have, them cuddling, whoop de whoop de whoop. However, I think the bad is outweighing the good because we don't even see enough of the good. So it's
this
like
would be strictly game for me.
Like
that's her choice.
He definitely wouldn't be talking to me like that. Like that's the main thing.
That he don't even talk to like he really mainly talks to Claudia like that. Like I said, or I guess it's just women he doesn't respect. I don't know because he don't talk to Kuzi like that. And he don't really talk to Anika like that either.
He just don't talk to Anika,
and that's
and that's better than talking to
Crazy. Better. But basically, in this combo, Claudia's like, I mean, you're basically trying to make me pick between this and this, like you and them, and it's weird. And you're trying to do it to Shania too, and it's weird. And she's like, how would you feel if you had to choose between Zach and me? And he was like, oh, but I don't.
I would be in that position.
But she was like, how would you feel if you were in that position?
I wouldn't feel because I wouldn't be in that position. This is about Shania.
But
Shania's in that position. But Shania's in that position. I just said, literally, while she was talking, he was like, I was saying that, and he goes louder to drown her out, and she just shuts up. And it's like, oh, girl, Claudia, run, Claudia.
Please, something.
He's talking to her crazy.
Or stand up.
And he's basically just telling her, like,
not telling her anything. He's talking at her.
But he's talking at her and saying that basically this is the second time I've approached her and Shania, Claudia and Shania, with a plan. Because the first time they did it, it was to get Zach to stay.
Yeah.
They denied him. This is the second time he approached the two with something, and they didn't follow what he wanted. So he feels some way about that.
Yeah.
And he was like, you saw Dan go home, you saw Zach go home. I'm approaching you now, and you still want to use the veto? It's like, I don't know. Like, I can't work with that. And it's like, hey, that's because that's what you want. Like,
and also what you want is done for all four of y'all.
Dummy.
After this, Kuzi and Claudia and Shania, they talk about their conversations with Ty. And basically they were like, the nigga's weird. And he is.
Literally.
Then Kuzi and Santina talk, and they're saying that they're talking about how Jonathan's probably going to be the renom, and how if that happens, they need to have a discussion about what they're going to do. And it's like implying that they're going to agree on the vote, they're going to work together on it. Now, I don't know.
Yeah, that's really important for the next DG. That's interesting. But I really, Kuzi needs to bring in Santina. She 100% does. Jonathan is going to go up. So if he ends up going, Jonathan or Hope ends up going, they have to lock in Santina because she's too much of a wild card.
Yeah. And I guess that's their plan, but I'm not sure how it's working. Because in this next digital daily, which is April 10th, first of all, we found out Shanae did use the veto on Renee. The renom is in fact Jonathan. Final noms are Hope and Jonathan. The crown lost.
I tweeted, the crown has fallen, bitch. Like,
crown has tilted. It's tilted.
Oh, because it didn't fall, period.
This heavy crown. So we start off Claudia, Renee, Shania, and Santina.
I don't like that. I was like,
wait, it's not Kuzi. Why are you talking to them? Because she hasn't even. There's scenes and they in the kitchen, and the girls will be talking, and Santina will be eating her chips. She'll be turned around, back to them, head up.
She doesn't know them.
Chin up. Like, she be acting like she don't know who the fuck they are. But she was talking to them here. I was like, oh. And Santina, she don't talk to nobody unless she's trying to actually do something, in my opinion. So that's why I was like, ooh, is this
That is true.
Because she would not be like, why are you? Apparently, she went to them. And
yeah. Basically, we come to the conversation. We were literally at the end of it because she stands up and she's like, well, I'm going to go hang out of here so people don't assume that we're working together.
Yep.
And when she leaves, the girly pop's reaction was basically like, well, she came at the right time. Like, we were just planning on talking to her and she came to us. So we can infer that because Jonathan was nominated, she went to them to try and save Jonathan. Which I don't think she necessarily wants to work with them. I think she just wants to save Jonathan.
Yes.
I do think, they feel like after this conversation, they feel like, okay, good. We got Santina.
She can work with
We're
us.
going to save
We're gonna
Jonathan.
save Jonathan.
And we're
He's
going to
gonna work
move
with
forward
us.
together. We're going to bring in Daniel and what Claudia said, Ty, Kuzi, and Nika versus all of us.
Yeah.
Going into whether that could or could not happen, because low key, depending on this vote, it could. But I don't think at this moment Santina is actually really trying to work with them, especially if it's for Jonathan, because we know Jonathan's loyalty is to the crown. So
yeah, and if they save Jonathan, I don't think we just gonna see.
But after Claudia mentioned something though. She also said that it was interesting that Santina was told that we're her target.
Exactly.
So we don't know who told her that. It could have been Jonathan. It could have been Hope. It could have been Kuzi. It could have been Ty. So
but someone
the fact that she even dropped that T is like, girl, are you with them, Santina? Oh, Santina. But at the end of the day, I will also say, if she does flip, that's on the crown, because why didn't y'all solidify her? She would have been a 6.
Jonathan asked. Jonathan and Hope asked. Y'all did not want to say yes.
So if she flips, it's like you knew she was a wild card, and then she wild carded.
But that's the thing. They were trying to be in the middle. They were trying to play the middle between, because if they add in Santina, they can't target Santina, which means they would have to target the girly pops. But they didn't want to target the girly pops. Y'all should have just voted Renee out. Let me stop, because y'all shouldn't. Damn. After this, Jonathan and Kuzi talk. Kuzi's basically trying to help him, give him a pitch on him to stay, like help him plan what he needs to tell people, who he needs to talk to. So I was like, okay, does she want him to stay?
I will say it was very general. It was very general though. The conversation, it was like him being like, I don't want to campaign, but me and Hope, we both have to, we owe it to ourselves. And she was just like, yeah, we should definitely stay. Like, she wasn't giving intricate details of who he should talk to and what votes he has, and She didn't do that like she does in the later conversations with the other nominee.
Because, but anyway, Jonathan and Santina talk. It seems like Santina does want him to stay in this conversation too.
Yes.
Very much so. And Jonathan's like, girl, I think I got the votes, because I got you, I got the girls, and I think I also have, but that's the thing. He he was pretty confident that he had Kuzi in them too. So he thinks he's saying damn near unanimously.
Yeah.
He might say 43. He might go home 43.
And you never really know. And then what I found interesting about this conversation is that she basically was telling him, I think you have the girls, because I just spoke with them. They seem on board and ready to go. I don't know about the other side of the house, which would be the Shady Bunch. And it's interesting that she said that, because I feel like that shows that she feels like her and Jonathan are in the middle. And I think she feels like she's in a position to where she has to fight for votes for him. So I don't know if it, like I said, it makes me feel more and more that it's not necessarily she's trying to work with with the girly pop. She just wants to solidify their votes. So she may try to have a similar conversation with the Shady Bunch. So I mean, I think the big thing about this is the miscommunication going to turn into something that could be a detriment to someone's game? Because the slip vote would be Santina. You know what I mean? You have the 3 Shady Bunch over here, you got the 3 girly pops over here. Santina is the swing vote. Which side is she going to? And does the Shady Bunch know that they have her, or do the girly pops have her? You know what I mean? We don't really know.
And that's the issue, because we'll get to it. Claudia and Ty talk, and basically they had another argument.
Yeah.
I don't know. So they're hashing out another argument. And this is when Ty says that I don't know why you said that you feel like I make you feel smaller. Like, that's weird. And Claudia was like, I mean, I'm sorry. I just really shouldn't have said that. But it's like, babe, if he makes you feel that way, which he does, because he's weird, then go ahead and tell him. But I guess she was scared because he's weird and, the A word sometimes. But anyways, Ty just be doing a lot. And basically, he's trying to force her to not feel like she's smaller than him when they're having conversations.
Well, he was like, I don't know if this is a form of manipulation he's trying to do, but he basically said in the conversation, like, if you feel that I make you do that, then you should work with people like Renee and Shania that makes you feel good. You shouldn't work with me. You should want to work with them. But basically, he doesn't want to work with them. So if she's working with them, then he can't work with her.
Exactly.
And he's saying that in a way for her to, like, get it. Like, oh, you work with them, then you won't be fully working with me necessarily.
And after he said that, he was basically like, and I'm not working with Renee specifically because I don't trust Renee, and I don't know why you trust Renee. Like, I feel like I'm a straightforward person. I get why you trust me. Why do you trust Renee? And Claudia was like, I mean, straightforward. He was like, I mean, yeah, what did I lie about? And she was like, I mean, you didn't lie, but shit got back to me, like the koozie thing.
And it's like, what is that tea?
The koozie thing.
Mm.
After this, Jonathan and Anika talk real quick. Anika was like, girl, get them votes. Boom. Ty and Hope talk. It was dead ass. Ty and Hope talk. Ty was like, girl, get them votes. Boom. But Ty does want Hope to stay. Duh.
Yeah. And he also said in this conversation with her, like, basically, like, they're all dead to me.
Yep.
He does
Claudia,
not like them at all.
Shania, Renee is kind of who he was
insinuating. And he's basically like, he's going to continue to placate Claudia this week to try and get her to save Hope, but he doesn't want to work with her. I don't know how true that is. He was saying it at the beginning of the game. I will say he hasn't acted like he's wanted to work with her at all, so maybe it's 100% true. But that's interesting because it's like going back to this past conversation, it's like it seems like he was really trying to get her back on his side. And it's like, is that only to use her, or do you actually want to work with her? Like, is he fully done with the girly pops, or is he just saying that? You never really know. Because I do think he likes her. Most men who are in these weird, emotionally abusive relationships with the women, they actually like them and don't want them to leave because it's more so of a power struggle. They like the power of feeling like, they're in power. They have more control over the situation. It's just weird.
The situation being a woman, a human. But hey, we move. After this, Claudia, Renee, and Shania, they talk. They basically are like, Ty is spiraling. He be pacing back and forth at night in the dark. Like, what's he doing? And it's like, maybe somebody needs to check. I don't know. He's a lot. Maybe the house is stressing him out. And he's not just weird in real life, but he's weird in the house. They say Hope needs to go because he's a number for them. Mm-hmm. Them being
the blacks. No. This ain't BBK 10. We won.
But they think it is. No, I'm playing. But they think Hope will be a number for them. They don't think Jonathan will be. Gag is both of them might be. Good luck. But they were like, Hope, they were like, we hope nobody holds a grudge if we come after them.
And they basically dropped that they think Sakuzi might. And I didn't really like that because I just feel like
I don't see that at all.
Like, girl, she's a game player. She's gonna vote for the best player.
I don't see
but
that.
But also, it makes me feel like, is this disdain? Because once you start disliking someone,
how do y'all see her? Like, how do y'all see her that way?
I think I truly, I think they see her as someone that is trying to attach herself to Ty to get further in the game. Not every player, feels the need to attach themselves to a strong alpha male. I know that some people in that group may feel like they have to, no shade to literally all three of them, but not every player wants to play that type of game. So I think they're overestimating. They're like, we don't have Ty. She has Ty. She's trying to use him and get to the end with him when really she just wants to target him. Like I said, the read on her being a threat and needs to go 100% on that. I just think
all the intricacies, the ideas they have about it is not accurate.
That's not it. She does not want to go to the end with that man. She does not like that man. He talks to her. He attempts to talk to her crazy.
She wanted to take him out, but y'all started coming for her. That's the thing. She really wanted him to go next, but now she's like, well, fuck. Y'all coming after the
right. In a perfect world, she would have wanted Ty to target Santina. Not even them. They wanted Ty to get out Santina,
and then them get out Ty.
Ty would get out Ty. But now, since y'all are targeting her big time, she's now forced to need Ty.
After this, Hope and Kuzi talk, and this is where this was a longer conversation. Kuzi's and Jonathan.
A very open conversation.
Very open. Hope is like, I know I have the votes on lock, but do I still need to talk to the girly pops? And Kuzi was like, girl, yes.
And initially I was like, votes, he got the votes on lock.
Which would
because
mean
Santina then told Hope, apparently straight up, that she's saving him. And from what we've seen in the conversation with Jonathan, what we've seen in the conversation with the girly pops, what we've seen from Santina in general, she's closer to Jonathan.
Yeah, it's like.
So is she now blatantly just lying to Hope? And then Kuzi asked him, are you sure that you have Santina's vote? And he was like, she told me. So that makes me feel like maybe Kuzi knows that Santina could be flip-flopping.
Yeah.
Because that's the big thing. If the shady bunch feel like they can keep Hope, all three of them want to keep Hope, and they think they have Santina, then they're gonna have the numbers.
And I just
But
feel,
if they think that Santina's voting with them and she actually isn't because she's lying, and it's like, why would she lie? Then that's the problem. I just hope that she doesn't lie to Kuzi and them. I don't think she has a reason to lie to Kuzi and them.
She doesn't. This is my thing. I was like, is Hope misinterpreting?
But what is her
potentially
reason
what
to lie
Santina
to
said?
Renee? What is her reason to lie straight up to one of the nominees? Like
That's what I'm saying. Maybe Hope misinterpreted what she
how
said,
would you
or
misinterpret you keeping me in the game?
I don't know, because it just don't make sense. Why would she tell? I don't know why she would tell both of them. I don't
Well,
think
I
there's a
think that
reason.
makes sense because it
She
also
controls, but
seems
she
like
controls
the
the
Shady
vote a
Bunch
little
did.
bit.
I don't know if she fully thinks she does. I don't think she fully understands that part. Because the way she was
Okay.
talking to Jonathan as if they're in some type of danger, if they knew that she controlled the vote,
Yeah.
she would know they're in no type of danger.
It's weird because when she was talking to Jonathan, she was like, "I know the girls are saving you, but I don't think the other side is. But that if you know that, you know you have the votes." So it's kind of like I don't know which, but that probably not. She's not that great of a player, so it might not click for her. But I just don't. I don't think it would be smart for her to tell Hope and kind of on accident tell Kuzi, Daniel, and Anika you're saving him when you're not.
Well,
So
that's the,
maybe
I'm
she lied
thinking.
just to Hope
That's
and
what
not
I'm
to
thinking.
anybody else.
I think because at the end of the day, the Shady Bunch are lying to both the nominees too. Both nominees thinking that the Shady Bunch is keeping them. So I think it's more so they could be all placating, and maybe that's why Kuzi asks, "Are you sure you have Santina?" Maybe they know Santina is not keeping that man, and she's like, "You sure you have Santina?"
Yeah. Ooh.
But
If I was Santina, I might let both sides think I'm voting with them to make sure they all vote separately. I don't think she's that smart, but I was
girl,
thinking
if she thinking that,
if
Santina,
I don't think she is, but she could be. But it's like I just thought of it like best for Santina is to make sure the vote is split. If she tells Hope and them, I'm not saving Hope, I'm saving Jonathan, it's gonna be unanimous. Even if she tells the girly pops, it's gonna be unanimous. So it's like maybe she just wants the vote to be split. Don't know. I don't think this is that hard of a concept. So I guess she could have thought of it and she knows she's in the middle, but I don't know. That would be the only explanation for me as to why she would lie.
Mm-hmm. I'm also trying to see because from the things we do know about Daniel and Anika, I mean, Daniel has openly talked about being annoyed and wanting Hope to go. Anika seems like she has a close relationship with Jonathan. I don't know because in this conversation, Cooley is giving him very detailed tips. She's telling him like, you have to go talk to the girls, the girly pops, because if you stay, you don't need to be targeted next to me. So, we kind of get the impression that Kuzi knows. That's the thing. Mm-hmm. When you say Kuzi name, she knows it, bitch. She always knows it. She has ears and eyes on the other side,
in the Big
bitch.
Brother Canada house be talking to Kuzi. They be whispering, bitch.
Like, so she's very aware. And it's like, in this conversation, it did feel like, especially opposed to the Jonathan one, that she wanted Hope to stay. Yeah. And that's what's scary. Like I said, the Santina vote. However, I'm thinking, is the Shady Bunch even on the same page? I don't know how realistic it is that all three of them want Hope to stay over Jonathan. That could have been the conversation that could have been had. And I feel like if I would say, honestly, it feels like Kuzi in this conversation was mainly just telling him what he needed to hear. I think she wants him to stay. But I don't think that
everybody, all three of them agreed on Hope staying.
Yeah. Like, I don't think it's that solidified of the Shady Bunch want this, the girly pumps want this, and Sinead is the split. And Santina is the split. I don't think that's necessarily the case. I don't from the evidence that we have, it wouldn't fully make sense for all three of the Shady Bunch to just be like, oh, well, Hope staying because of what they've said in the past, specifically Daniel, but you never know. And I'm also thinking too, like, Santina, she says she's gonna have that conversation with Kuzi. I just feel like they know. Especially because in this conversation, Kuzi said, "Are you sure you have Santina?" Mm-hmm. If the three do all want Hope to stay, they know that last vote rests on Santina, and they're going to be talking to Jonathan, who probably is also saying he has Santina. Mm-hmm. So it's like I don't think they would let this vote. They would not go to the eviction night thinking, "Oh, we have the four with Santina, we're good." I do think there's going to be way more conversations to be had, but that was the big thing of this episode. If Santina is going to go with Kuzi's episode, this digital drop, is she going to go with Kuzi's plan or is she going to go with the girly pops? But I don't think it's a Kuzi plan. I don't. But you don't know. You never really know.
My thing is, I don't see and that's the thing, we only got so much. Like you said, it could just be Kuzi saying what she needs to say because I don't see the reason for a preference. If I was in the crown, I would slightly want Jonathan here because Jonathan can have a little bit more influence on the girly pops potentially than Hope could. The girly pop's not gonna work with Hope. So that would be my slight preference, but it's not even a big one.
And maybe that's what it is.
I would genuinely be like, hey, I mean, whatever the girly pops are doing, that's what I'm doing because there's no need to make a big stand on these two allies who honestly don't have much difference, in my opinion. It's like,
and I think that's the decision they're going to come to. Like, I'm trying to think if Daniel's talking to the girly pops and Santina, they're talking to Jonathan. Jonathan thinks he had. When they're talking to Jonathan and Hope, they're both going to say, I think I have Santina, I think I have you. That's why she asked him, are you sure? So I don't think they're going to go to the vote just thinking it's us four with Santina of all people because she's too much of a wild card. She just is. But that's going to be interesting because at the end of the day, let's say they don't get the tea and Santina does vote out Hope with the girly pops. Then Jonathan is now in the game with the girly pops having him saved, Santina have saved him, and them all probably potentially uniting against the Shady Bunch and Ty. Yeah. So you never really know where that's going to go. That's what I'm saying. I'm just hoping that they don't put all their eggs in the Santina basket. They cannot. They cannot. But I think they're smart enough players to know that they can't do that. This is way too much of a close vote to be leaving it up to Santina. Hell no.
Never that. I agree. After this, we get Ty and Claudia again, and this is when we learn the tea on what happened with Kuzi. Because basically, at first, yes.
I was going to say it's really kind of important. She also, Kuzi in this conversation was saying she wants the girls out.
Yes.
She's now saying that we have to work with Ty out of necessity.
Because Hope was like, are we really working with Ty?
Problem.
He was like, are we really working with Ty now? And Kuzi was like, yes, as long as we need to, because those girls got to go.
So she is aware and she's fully targeting them. And we don't know if it's vice versa. I think they could still have a Ty and a buffer above her, but they know. You know, they see each other.
They see each other. They're good.
They're not good, but they do see each other.
They see each other. Ty and Claudia talk, and they arguing again. Their combos are so weird.
Oh my god!
But Claudia basically said, "Jonathan leaving is better for you, not me." Ty is like, "But Jonathan is going to get better at the game the longer he stays." Claudia was like, "Girl, I don't give a fuck. I'm voting out Hope," but she did not say that at all. Actually, it was kind of the opposite. She was being passive. But anyways, that was a disagreement, and then Ty gets into, who do you think your biggest threat is? And Claudia initially says Santina. And he says, why are you lying? And she says,
be real.
Okay, Kuzi. And he's like, well, then just say that. And she was like, well, I mean, the last time I said that, it got back to her from you. And it's like, ooh.
So we can, now what we know from the episodes and the digital drops, basically it's clear that she told Ty,
which we saw, that Kuzi needs to be damn near nominated and that she's a big threat and she's a target and she needs to go.
And we can infer that information went straight back to Kuzi from the mouth of Ty. Why Ty would throw his whole showman
as he should.
Hey, and that's the thing. I think, honestly, let's not wonder why Ty is stupid. Let's praise the mother for being that smart. Because clearly she worked that nigga so good that he felt like he had to tell her that. And then apparently, now this is where the issue probably comes in. Kuzi confronted Claudia about that. Now Kuzi, why you that? Now, we don't know if she really did. We don't know. It could be a situation where Ty went back and said, hey, I told her.
Yeah, because it got back. Claudia knows that Kuzi knows.
Yeah.
So it must, we're assuming, most likely Kuzi approached her about it. Did she mention Kuzi about it? I don't remember. But it's most likely.
I don't remember. I don't think she did mention that they had a conversation, but we can, all of that could be assumed because they're 10 toes against that girl. And it's like.
Exactly. And what works is I think Kuzi can pull in whoever stays, has pulled in Ty, and can even pull in Santina. So that's good. But what's bad is I feel like her approach to knowing this information shouldn't be to confront them. It should be to make them like you again, babes. Yeah. Which she could have done, I feel. I feel like if it was me and I heard the tea, I would have been like, girl, let me just slightly mention, like, I just feel like Anika and Daniel don't like me that much. I don't know. Lie, babe. I would have.
And
I don't know.
I don't know. Like, it's really interesting because, like I said, their read on Kuzi is 100% correct. Like, from this conversation, I mean, it clicked. It's like essentially they're scared of Kuzi because they know that's mother. They know that she knows that they've been talking shit.
Yeah.
And they understand that Kuzi's powerful, so she can get them girls out because we were talking about this off the podcast. Like, so let's say Santina is the swing vote. She ends up going with the girly pops. You know, that does put the Shady Bunch in a very compromising position if they don't even get HOH. If they get HOH, I mean, they could still...
It's right back over. If
you know what I
Santina
mean?
gets HOH, is Santina going to take out Kuzi or is she going to take out Ty? Or she
Yeah.
might just nominate Renee. She don't like y'all like that. No shit.
Exactly. And then it's like, so it's like they're going to need this next HOH one. But also, too, it's like in this situation, if the Shady Bunch do not bank on Santina's vote, if they just go with the majority, they keep Jonathan. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Jonathan is going to be fully with the crown still in the Shady Bunch. Yeah. Ty has now allegiance to them. They're trying to protect them. Exactly. Santina is with Jonathan. So it's going to be the house versus them. So that's why I said, like, I'm mad.
It was too late.
But they ate it up because they know. They know who Mother is, and they know if they're against her, what she can do. Because honestly, her influence would cause that. If Jonathan stays this week unanimously, the Kuzi influence would cause essentially everyone against them. They would need HOH.
Yep.
So,
which is amazing.
Let's pray that they don't get it. No. But I don't know. Like, I mean, this season is good. It really is good. I'm really hoping it does not. I just hate miscommunication in general. Like, if it comes down to them believing Santina's gonna vote with them and then she doesn't, I'm gonna honestly be looking at Kuzi, Anika, and Daniel like, y'all dumb. Y'all put all that trust in Santina? There's no way in hell they should put all of their trust in Santina. And there's enough evidence from what they've said to know that Santina is not necessarily on their side 100%. So if you're going to eviction night only being like, well, we only have 4 votes and one of them is Santina of all people, and she flips, it will be on them.
And over Jonathan, y'all know she told Jonathan the tea about the HOH fires. Don't do. And I don't think they will.
I was thinking that's the thing. Maybe it is. Because at the end of the day, Jonathan's influence with the girly pops is not going to help the Shady Bunch at this point. There's not enough people in the game. They're going to have to put up somebody in the Shady Bunch. It only protects Jonathan. So maybe their thought process is, well, Hope can be nominated. Because when Jonathan stays, I mean, who put up Jonathan other than Ty? You know what I mean? Hope, a lot of people will still nominate Hope. So maybe that's the thought process. But at the end of the day, I don't think they got the numbers. I don't think there's any way, shape, or form that Santina would evict Jonathan. I'm hoping she just tells Kuzi that. But like I said, the fact that Kuzi questioned Hope into thinking he has her vote makes me feel like Kuzi's had a conversation or she's seen things, so she doesn't know for sure. And I know they're smart enough players to not know for sure and still go to the vote. Even if she tells them for sure, like straight up lie to them, they shouldn't believe it. And at the end of the day, if they get fucked up over believing Santina, that's going to be on them. It's gonna be on them.
Santina, please. The bitch the girl who backdoored JM week 1, her partner, the person who got her HOH, please. So there's that.
I think it's very
next day is gonna be really next day is gonna be very interesting to see what's going on. It's gonna be interesting to see this eviction, to see who goes home, who's HOH. All of that's gonna be very important. So honestly, tune in.
We need like an Anika HOH, like
we do. We just need a crown. Honestly, Anika. What the fuck would Daniel do?
He cannot win. Daniel does not need to win.
He needs to throw that away. Anika or Kuzi, girl, I'm good with. If Hope stay, Hope. If Jonathan stay, maybe even Jonathan. I don't know. But tune in on Friday because we're gonna update you on all the tea. We're also gonna tell you who's HOH, and we're also going to rate the players after this crazy ass week. So let's get into that on Friday. Also tune in for Survivor every Wednesday, and tune in for the challenge, which we still doing. I guess we are.
Hey, we halfway through now. Shit.
We're halfway there. All right, y'all.